What an enormous game changer inside the courtroom in the Pistorius trial. I mean, everything is different. Now, let's take a look at what this all means to Oscar Pistorius in the trial. He's going to be evaluated by a psychiatrist, right? So now, looking at what this means. Well, the psychiatrist and the panel could come back and say he's mentally incapacitated. Then the trial would end. He'd be found not guilty. And then what would happen to Oscar Pistorius? He would end up committed to an institution. One possibility. Let's take a look at another possibility. Could find diminished responsibility or diminished capacity. The trial would resume, and then from that point forward, the judge could find him guilty or not guilty based upon this diminished responsibility, which a lot of people in this country call diminished capacity. Then the third possibility is that the panel, the psych panel, could come back and find that mental health is not an issue. If that happens, once again, the trial resumes, and then the question becomes, will the judge disregard what the defense psychiatric expert said? And once again, we'll be back to the ultimate result, either guilty or not guilty, based upon all of this. Huge development. Let's get some more live from South Africa. CNN international correspondent Robin Curnow joins us. Robin, great to see you. Oh, my goodness. This is such a game-changing event inside that courtroom. The first question I have for you, though, is for this judge and this panel that's evaluating Oscar Pistorius, are they evaluating what his state of mind is right now at this moment, or are they going to forensically try to figure out his state of mind at the time he shot and killed Reeva Steenkamp?
Very good question, and I think that's very important. They are going to be assessing his state of mind at the time he shot and killed Reeva Steenkamp, and that is what is so critical. Why did he act like he did? His version of events, he said he was terrified. He thought it was an intruder. His psychiatrist testifying that he had these heightened levels of anxiety, that he was vulnerable because of his disability, that he, if he faced fight or flight options in terms of danger, he would fight, not flee, because he knew he couldn't. All of that is going to be very, very closely looked at. It's about what he was thinking and was his emotional and mental state an impact or at least a precursor to how he acted that night.
Okay, Robin, when it comes to experts here in the United States, we're used to a defense expert testifying, then a prosecution expert testifying about mental state. And there's a battle of the experts, and the jury has to figure out who do they believe or what sort of conclusion do they come to when two experts are saying different things? Well, what's going to happen in this courtroom if you've got the defense expert saying one thing and this other panel of experts saying something else? Is the judge obliged to follow one opinion or another, or does she just make up her mind the same way a jury would here in the United States?
I think, according to our legal expert, she says that this panel, probably made up of 3 people, will have, if they have a unanimous decision, if they put a report on the table, they're all in agreement, then the judge can take their report, I think, as perhaps more persuasive than the psychiatrist. However, if there's disagreement between the panel, she can question them and then perhaps can view all the different experts in addition to the psychiatrist, perhaps in the same way a jury would assess and weigh up the information. But really what we're looking at is, will this panel contradict materially the statements and the testimony given by the psychiatrist from the defense? That's what's going to be key.